Evercade Alpha restock, New Wave Toys, Blackhole update, and A1Up will give us Pacman forever. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, the show where we talk about what happened this weekend. Home Arcades, episode 177. Thank you so much for joining me on this Super Bowl Eve. I know it's a little bit of a different setup, a little bit different scenario. Saturday night. Is it possible? Can we make this work? I think we can. Last year, we tried actually going live during the Super Bowl. Wasn't the best idea. It wasn't the best idea. So I think that this is probably going to be a little bit better. So we're going to try this out, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully your week has gone well. My week, well, let's roll the clock back just a little bit to last week. Last Sunday, I told you I wasn't going to be here. Surprise, I'm here. Yes, my schedule changed. Again, wonder why I'm leaving the shop? Exactly, yeah. So I'm here this week, and I'm going to be here next week. Actually, there will be no show next week. I've got family in town. But the last week at my current job, I'm going back out of town. Again, yes, like I said before, wonder why I'm quitting? So hopefully you had a better week than I did. Lots of stuff going on. Some stuff that we've had on pre-order is finally starting to show its head, like the groundhog coming out, telling you how many more weeks of winter we have. So I'm glad to see some movement on something that maybe I'm the only one that ordered. I don't know. You got to let me know in the comment section if you pre-order one of these Blackhole pinball machines. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. Let's talk about something right now before we get to the show is the drink, the Conversation lubricant, and it is Jefferson's. I opened up a new bottle. I didn't finish the last bottle because some of these newer bottles have this like coat of arms on the back. The old one actually has a label of Thomas Jefferson. So I wanted to keep that bottle, not completely empty that one out yet. So we're going to keep that bottle. I don't know when they actually went to this, but something I just noticed. So this is okay. But the one with Thomas Jefferson on the back was pretty cool. So we're going to keep that bottle. We got this new bottle. We're going to have a drink. You have a drink. It's Saturday night. We don't have to work tomorrow. Hopefully you don't have to work tomorrow. Knock on wood. Super Bowl Eve, Super Bowl tomorrow. Who's going to win with these two teams? Who cares? I don't know. But we got more important things to talk about today. Okay, we talked about the drink. We talked about what I had going on, my tumultuous employment coming to a close, going for something nice, stable, and maybe even a little bit boring. Wouldn't that be nice? So we can pump out some more content. That'd be nice. Content's great, but projects are even more important. I have so many things that I want to get done, and having more time at home is going to allow me to do that. So you can kind of see, maybe, I don't know, right there, you can kind of make it out. I have the final artwork for AVP, so we're going to get that done this week. Put the artwork on the control panel, finish up the filming of the project, and then the long, arduous process of editing will begin. But I'm excited to get that thing wrapped up, obviously play the hell out of it, and then show it off to you. That's going to be great. Got some stuff that I've got to do to T2. The A1Up T2 is going to be modified even further than I've already modified it. So that's going to be a fun video to get done. Also, another project, we had our little road trip, Console Kits and I, and he was talking about his Vuelix and how he was maybe going to convert it to a single-player cab. And that kind of gave me some inspiration. Why not do the same thing to my Astro City? So I ordered the parts. Those parts are going to come in. We're going to do that modification. And it's maybe a little bit niche because not everybody has an Astro City. But for those of you that are actually getting your Nova Blasts, eventually they're all going to get there. I'm sure. I've been told that's the case. You can actually do this using the same parts. So if you don't like the two-player setup, you can switch that to a one-player and make it the ultimate one-player game station. So that's a couple things I got going on. A couple other things I have going on is that I couldn't get Star Wars Trilogy working. So I've got somebody that's willing to buy it as is. The cabinet is beautiful. I actually bought it and then put more artwork and stuff on it, thinking surely I can get that thing going. I tried like one thing and I just couldn't fix it. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just get rid of this thing. So we got that going out, and we're gonna sell Raiden also. Yeah, Raiden's gonna go because I got something else. I know it's always like a revolving door of projects. I've got one more thing in mind that I really want to get done this year, and there's a cabinet locally. Fingers crossed I can actually get it done. Okay, so let's talk about. We talked about this. We talked about that. Let's talk about the poll question. And this week I have one every single week. This week is no different. The poll question is this: we're talking about the peasant version of the arcade one-up, the classic version. This is a question I don't know that I've ever asked the audience. I think, and this is probably my fault, I think I have assumed an opinion and just assumed that that opinion was everyone's opinion. That's what we would call arrogance, or stupidity. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. I'm sure I'm probably right, but let's go with this theory that everybody has their own mind and own opinion. So that's the question I want to ask you tonight. It is a simple one. What do you think of the form factor? What do you think of the classic version arcade one-up cabinet, this peasant version with no riser, no lit marquee and all that, but 14 games? I'm really curious what you think. So you have three options. One is it should be cheaper than $299. You think $299 is a little bit too expensive for what you're getting. At this stage of the game, I think that's a reasonable argument to make. Number two is stop making the form factor altogether. You don't like it. It's a waste of time and money. There's just not enough there to even, come on, I think we're past the point of risers. At least a lot of people are, but some people still like the risers. And then your third option is I like it, make more. Meaning different games, so assuming they have any other licenses left, maybe make some more, maybe make some different versions. There is an argument to be had that this is a good entry point into the hobby. $299, remember, that's where we all started basically, right? That's all that was available at the time. Is it still viable? Is it still something that people are even considering in the year 2025, this deep into the hobby? So let your voice be heard. Let me know what you think about the classic / peasant version of the arcade one. I don't want to assume everybody has the same opinion. I think it might be a little bit different. Okay, so we talked about that. Let me call over here. Let me kick that over there. Oh, let me know what you think about, I don't know if you noticed it. I don't know if you picked it up, but I've got a new intro video that I had somebody help me with. And I'll play it for you one more time just so you can kind of see. Did I delete the old one? Yeah, the old one's gone. The old intro is gone. This is going to be the new intro to my videos that I've had the same intro forever, and it's high time to get something different. So this is the new intro. Tell me what you think. I'll play it one more time. Here you go. What do you think, huh? Mason helped me out with that one. It's much more arcade specific, and focused, but I still wanted to have the old 20th Century Fox inspired 19K Fox in there in some way. So I thought that was a great solution. So let me know what you think about that. I think it's pretty cool. I hope it's better. It's better because the old one was fine, but that was played out. So I like this combination. Shout out to Mason for helping me out with that. That was really cool. Now let's take a shout out. Take the time to shout out all of you. That's right. Let's talk about not the top 10 comments, but the first 10 comments. The first 10 comments of the day of the Saturday night edition of This Week. Technically, I guess this is the proper time to have the This Week show because we're in the week that we're talking about. Got a lot of flack about people pointing out that Sunday is technically the beginning of the next week. I disagree. I think that all calendars are wrong and that the weekend belongs to either this week or that week. And the weekend is comprised of Saturday and Sunday. Don't let them lie to you. It's conspiracy. Come on over to the right side. I'll set you straight. Okay, so let's look at the number one comment coming in at 3:17. This was pretty close. I put the show up a little bit later than I usually do because I actually didn't get home till today. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I'll complain about my job some other time. We got B Kirby in the house with the coveted number one spot. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. What's up, Fox? What's up, B Kirby? Great to see you, man, as always. JR sliding in the number 2 spot. What's going on? Hi, everyone. Great to see you. Jason modding like a mofo in the number 3 position. Howdy, Fox. Hope it's been a good week for you. Busy, but I do feel accomplished. I know I'm complaining, but I do feel accomplished. Coming in the number 4 spot is Zero Cool. What's going on, brother? Cheers. Have a good show. Thank you. We'll try. I'll give it the old college try. even though I didn't go to college. Coming in number 5 spot is Jim the Pacer fan. No way. I made it in the top 10. I don't think Evercade cares about the U.S. market. There's a decent opinion. Yeah, it's it's they're based in the UK, right? The whole company, right? The whole movement, the whole cartridge-based Evercade, idea was really they're based in the UK. So, I'm proud of my country, and I think that we should take priority when we make something in America. I got to give them the same props, right? I mean, I got to give them the same leeway. They made this. The UK should be their focus. That's their priority, and I'm okay with it. We should fight like hell to get them, over to the States, right? Do what we can, But I, I think they care. They obviously care because there's some sales over here. But I think that their priorities are probably where they should be in their homeland. Coming in the number 6 spot is Frank D. What's going on, buddy? This week on Saturday. What? Nice. It's like your regular this week without the existential dread of knowing I have to work in the morning. I think I'm going to have a Jack and Coke. Maybe Saturday's where we settle, because this is a point that I think that we really need. I always have a drink. The show 177 episodes ago, the show used to be called The Bourbon Talks. I was talking about movies back then, and a little bit of arcade one-up when it was in its infancy. And I would always have a bourbon, and we would talk. It does present a problem when everyone has to work the next day, right? We really can't get crazy, and the conversation lubricant has to be kept to a minimum. Maybe Saturday is where we fall. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what kind of views we get on this one. Let your voice be heard. Vote with the views, vote with the likes, and so forth. The show on, share the video and whatnot. Yeah, Jack and Coke, always a good choice. Frank D, let me know. Do you like the pre-mix stuff, or do you like to make it yourself? I personally like to mix it myself. Coming in the number 7 spot is Kurt the Darling, or the Daring, not the Darling. I put an L in there. It didn't even have. Sorry. Greetings. Cheers to you, 19K. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Show Gecko coming in like a mofo in the number 8 spot. This is what I'm talking about. What this right now is what he's talking about, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely happy for it. Coming in the number 9 spot is Game Broker 84. Happy Saturday, Fox. Well, is it official yet? When are you getting a real pinball machine? You just slow down, mister. I'm not getting one yet. I am there. So it opened when we back off of the $7,000 price tag, I begin to maybe, just maybe, give it some consideration, give it some thought. Perhaps my mind can be changed. There are a few, pinball machines out there that maybe, just maybe, I will give a shot. I don't know. But it's not official yet. And coming in the number 10 spot is JJ. What's going on, buddy? Great to see you. Did JJ or was it J? JR. Sorry. JR was up above you. So JJ, I want to make sure everybody got, we had 10 individual comments. Fun stock, limited availability. Don't know about that, but I did buy a Sanwa joystick and buttons to replace in my basic alpha, and it's very noticeable. So I love the modular nature of these machines, of these countercades, of these 3/4 scope cabinets. It's great. It's a lot of fun. I love to be able just to tinker with them, and it's a great foundation. Maybe the classic peasant version is the foundation that a lot of people are talking about. A lot of people work. Maybe it works for a lot of people. Crazy old Maurice is here. Video Game Vegas. What's going on, buddy? I haven't watched your video yet. I apologize. Like I said, I got in about noon, and I had to get a bunch of stuff taken care of, but I'm going to watch your video. Video Game Vegas has a great video about, a good video. I haven't seen it yet. I'm assuming it's wonderful, but it's a review on the 4KP that gives a little bit of different takes. I'm going to watch that and let you know what I think, buddy. Angelo P is here. Dan Z is here. Mike, my biggest fan. Hey, buddy. I thank you. I appreciate it. The fact that I have a fan is just great. Big or small, doesn't matter. BS, I am Stringer Films. Damn it. Competition has begun. Thank you so much for being here. Who else we got? We got John J. Rambo is here also. Miss G in the chat. How are you guys? Good evening, everyone. Snowing and freezing cold where I am at too. Sorry about that. Miss Martin Muses. It is always a pleasure to have you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, ma'am. Gramps Arcade. What is going on, buddy? Great to see you as always. The Muller Medic. What's up? Hello, everyone. Nice Saturday stream. Hooray! We got Richie Odello is in the chat. What's going on, buddy? MSU Rich. Scroll down. Did we get everybody? Mad Gear Arcade. What's up, man? Is Real Gaming. What's going on? Bob, how the hell are you? Hope the boys are doing well. Next time you come to the house, I got a big AVP that we can all jam on. Excited about that. See, hey, Prince Vinny 007. Good to see you. Are you shaken? Not stirred? Moving on. Bad joke. What else we got? Brooklyn Mist in the house. What's going on, buddy? Taking some time off from stepping away from the VR world to say hi to us in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Ardith Bay at $2.99 should include the riser. There you go. I mean, I think that's probably where, maybe I should have added a fourth answer up there. Mike Hawkers is here always. Sunday came early this week. Hi, 19K Box, Jason, and Richard Odello. Yes, Sunday is here. Saturday is the new Sunday. Nah, it's still Saturday. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. The intro didn't really know what to do, so he and I kind of had to work together on that, and it was time. We needed to do something different. We need to do something more arcade inspired, because this is the focus of the show. And yeah, so in a way, it's a turning of the page. This year is going to be full of a lot of stuff. We're going to give the channel some attention. We got a lot of things we need to redo. We got some super chat stingers that we have to remake. We have all kind of stuff to take a look at. But yeah, so it's going to be a good, productive year. I'm excited to give the channel and the show the attention that it absolutely needs. It's a burden that I shoulder with great pride. Just like accepting a super chat. This one is $5. This one comes to us from Muller Medic. What's going on, buddy? A $5 super chat. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat. Saturday is a better day, my friend. Drinks flow better. I'm thinking you might be right. You might be onto something. This may be the way to go. This may be the place to go. But the place you're going right now is the pit.
Finish him. Melina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Oh, we've got some confusion, unfortunately, in the chat. You're not drunk. You didn't pass out. Yes, you're correct. It is not Sunday. Hey, Bozo, great to see you as always, man. We're getting some familiar faces back in on a Saturday. Maybe this is the day. Maybe this is what we do. We'll talk. We're not going to make any rash decisions tonight, but this may be the way to go. This may be the way to go. Okay, everybody. So, see, I think I said hi to most of you in the chat. Chris C., what's going on, buddy? This guy, great to see you. As always. Yeah, here we go. Absolutely. We're going. Gone. Okay, so, but I want to watch 19K Fox and James Hates Everything first. There we go. Take a break. Take a breather. Drink some water. Chill. And then go back into the Matrix, maybe in an hour. Okay, so we talked about the poll question. Everybody jump up there and let me know what you think about this form factor that we've just assumed that is not really for everyone. Maybe it doesn't have the mass appeal. I want to know what everybody thinks about it. I think that we're probably going to see that there's a lot of different opinions out there. And I think, I'm looking at the results right now. It's fairly surprising, actually. It's not quite as lopsided as you might think. But let your voice be heard. Vote in the poll. Let me know what you think about the classic version. We talked about that. We talked about the drink. Let me go over here and bring this over here. Do that over there. And okay, so we talked about the drink, the poll question. We said hi to the chat. Let's go ahead and slide into the first topic. The fun stock restock. That's right. It's here. Is this something? I mean, I'm curious. I wonder, did everybody that wanted a alpha, whether it was a deluxe or whatever, did everybody get their alpha? Because I know they sold out fairly quickly, not instantly. I know the deluxes, those pre-orders went, they kind of were gone fairly quickly. Not setting land speed records by any stretch of the imagination, but still they went by kind of quick. And then I think everything else, sold out pretty quick. So the question remains, did everybody get what they wanted? Did everybody get their hands on one? Well, if you didn't get your hands on one, or maybe you saw the reviews, the stunning reviews like mine, and you saw, man, I needed that. I got to have that. That's so awesome. You're going to be in luck. So let's just start where we all started. I got this email on the 6th, October. Not October. That's not the month we're in. February 6th. I got this email. I'm sure many other people did who were on the Funko mailing list. It said the Evercade Alpha Deluxe editions are going to have limited availability and on sale right now, as in that day. That's crazy. If you look over to the right, it says limited stock is now available of the Evercade Alpha Deluxe editions for the U.S. Canadian customers only. So, the U.S. market and the Canadian market, the North American market got some love, right? UK, no thank you. You're not allowed. We were able to get a little bit extra love. Okay, that's awesome. On a first come, first served basis. If you missed out and want a deluxe edition, then act fast and get yours right now. Click on the button that says Tuesday, the 4th of February. That's okay. How is that? I just told you that I got this email on the 6th. Now, maybe somebody else got their email, and it's not like I checked it on the 6th. I received the email on the 6th. So did everybody else get that same email on the same day? Not exactly sure, but that could have been maybe part of the problem. One of the issues that led to this, which is technical issues. So we apologize for the technical issues. The way it stands right now is limited stock is now available of the limited stock is now available of the Evercade Alpha Deluxe editions for the U.S. and Canadian customers was due to go back on sale today. Okay, so the limited stock that they have was going to go back, and I received this email on the same day. It was supposed to go out that day. Unfortunately, many of the U.S. and Canadian customers were unable to access our page, and we have encountered some technical issues. So while we fixed, does that say whilst? So you got to love the people in whilst. Is that American English or is that English? Whilst we fix these issues, we've removed the products. Sorry, I won't talk about that the rest of the show. We removed the rest of the products from our sale, and we will re-advise a new on sale date once everything has been fixed. We apologize for the inconvenience this has caused. Please bear with us and look out for our next update. So as of today, they haven't relisted this. I haven't got another email saying that this stuff's going to be available. So it's kind of good that they had the technical issues so that now you can be ready, because if they intended to send that email out the day that they were available, that's a little bit crazy. You don't really get enough. They should have prepared us. They should have given us a couple days notice or something, maybe a week to let everybody know to get ready to watch the website. So now they've effectively done that with the technical issues. So, hey, technical issues are good sometimes, kids. So get ready. When are they going to happen? I don't really know. I don't know exactly when that's going to drop. But if you want one, I think the deluxe version is a really good option. But here's my take on the Alpha Deluxe version. We just saw, I forget who said it, but somebody said they've already put in the Sanwa controls in their regular version, and it made a big difference. Some people are going to absolutely love that. They're going to demand that quality of controls. And I think that, if you want that, you should absolutely do that. If you have a standard edition, you can do that. It is possible to do that on your own. Not that big a deal. It's pretty much a direct swap and everything's fine. Beyond the included Sanwa controls, there is a special Evercade Alpha controller that is something you can only get in the deluxe bundle. You can't buy that separately. And then, of course, the swappable marquees that I'm really not interested in. You can swap the marquee, but if the whole body is of the Street Fighter II theme, then a marquee of a different game is going to be, it's just not going to look right. So I've swapped them in and out just to test it, but I'm not rocking a different marquee. I've got the Street Fighter II marquee in it. So that's where I'm at. I think that if you want the controller for the limited edition of that, or the limited availability, you want to have that, go ahead and go for it. I think if you really want the Sanwa controls built in, go ahead and go for it. But overall, I don't think that there's a lot there to make you jump on the deluxe. But if you want it all done, as far as the Sanwa stuff's in there, ready to go, if you want to have that special controller, go ahead and spend the extra money. Go ahead and get the deluxe. I don't think you'll be happy with it. But if you're a little bit handy, if you don't mind swapping controls out, you can just rock the standard version. Everything will be fine. But I think this is a pretty good deal at a pretty good price when you consider everything that you are actually getting in this bundle. And the box is pretty cool too. I like that. So that's the latest and greatest on that. Stay tuned for more details. And whilst is American English. Whilst? I don't know. This is an email from the UK. Is it their word or is it our word? I want to know whose word this is. We got to know. I was able to grab an alpha. Nice. Did you get the deluxe or did you get the regular version? If you act now, you can get the whole car. Yes, finally. Frankie says, I hope they reissue the Metal Dragon Life on Mars cartridge. I had some bills due when it came out and I missed it. Those aren't necessarily limited edition. I mean, there are some limited edition. Like, hold on a second. I probably showed this off before. My Full Void limited edition cart. They had a couple. They've got a couple versions that are limited, but I don't think that they necessarily. Now maybe they have a couple runs and they do eventually just sell out, and then they don't. I don't think it's their practice to just not remake them, but maybe I'm wrong on that. If that is the case, then they're all technically limited editions, aren't they? Yep. But yeah, it's I got that cartridge actually, and it's okay. It's okay. What is it? I think the Life on Mars it's kind of Metroid-ish, but not quite. So it's not bad. It's worth a play, but I mean, don't go crazy. Don't pay scalper pricing to get your hands on that one for sure. Arcade A1Up Marvel Superheroes limited edition. Both had true SandWall buttons and sticks. Yes, it did, and it never happened again. So I remember taking that apart because I had the same cabinet you're talking about, and I remember taking it apart and looking at the control panel underneath, and all they had to do really is just clearance the or take a router and take some of the width or the depth out of that control panel so that the sand walls could clip in. So there's like one extra step that they had to do. The sand walls aren't going to clip into a half-inch piece of MDF. They have to clip into something much thinner. So they just machined that down. They just routed that out. When they drilled the hole, they just backed off a little bit, just routed it out, and then it was able to clip in. I am kind of surprised that they never did that again on any other edition. There's never been sand wall controls. There's never been upgraded controls offered from Arcade 1-Up on a 3/4 scale cabinet, except for that limited edition, which is weird because if you've done it once, that would be a kind of a cheap way to make something limited. I mean, really, all they did was they put in sand wall controls and they changed the T-molding color. That was it. And it came with a little certificate of authenticity, limited edition number, You would think that they would do, I mean, if you're going to make a lot of Pacman games, if you're going to make 500, NBA jams, I mean, you do something more than just make a slightly different version of the cabinet. Just put controls in it. You can make the same version. You can make the same cabinet, change up the T-molding color if you want to, or just include sand wall controls, and then you're done. And then you could just call it limited and everybody's happy. I think that would be a good way for people to feel the value, and make it seem limited, make it seem worth it. You got the deluxe? Sweet. That's a good one. That's a good one to get. Yeah, good luck. They will sell out in seconds. Maybe we should have like some American representation. Evercade should open up an office, some manufacturing over here in America, or at least a warehouse in America. I beat Life on Mars last week, played through it on the Alpha. That's a good way to play too. Any arcade games, absolutely. I need the Arcade 1-Up Crane Game XL so I can buy a box of share size Snicker bars for it. Or you could just buy the Snickers and eat them. I don't know. That's something. But I mean, maybe given the success of the Crane game, and I would love to see them tell us how successful that was, or if it was successful. Do they even consider it to be successful? And if so, will they make an XL? I don't know that we're going to see any more XLs at all. It also came with a light up marquee for Marvel Superheroes Limited. Didn't they all come with limited or light up marquees? I think they did. Now, some of them came with light up control panel overlays. They had the little LED strip. I know KI came with that standard. I know that NBA Jam had that on a Best Buy. It was a really cool. So when the NBA Jam came out, I bought the standard version, and they had a Best Buy. Was it limited, or maybe just there's a bunch of shit included? But it had a lit up control panel overlay. It came with a stool, and that was all part of a bundle. And it was maybe $50 more than the regular version. So I think that it would be better instead of a stool, instead of a lit deck protector, give us better controls. And then that way, I mean, listen, there's no more stuff to pack. There's no more pack. The box doesn't have to be any bigger. That would have made more sense to me. Do that, and you're good to go. As far as Funko Land, no, I wish Funko Land. That was a great. The store that I went and pre-ordered the PSP day one. That was the only console I ever bought day one. You know, pre-ordered, stood in line at midnight to get. I just didn't. I had kids. You know, I mean, when I was young. There was like 2 years of my life where I wasn't. You know, when I graduated high school and before I got married, so there was a small gap. And for those 2 years, I wasn't really playing much games. I was playing some games, but I was doing something else. I was chasing girls. I was in the army, so you know. No, only the limited edition Marvel superheroes came with a light up marquee. Also, no light up deck protector. I still have mine. Boom. Nice. Scaredy Cat says, I have the HSN version of the Marvel superheroes. Came with the light up buttons. Oh, that's right. They had it was the gauntlet of not the gauntlet of power, It was the Infinity Stones. The Infinity Stones. That was kind of the theme they were going with. So they had light up buttons to kind of mimic the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity Stones, the different colors. That's right. That was the HSN version. They were not Sanwa though, right? They were just regular. They were just regular buttons that happened to be, you know, clear and light up. Shiny toys. That's why bass boats are painted in that glittery paint. You know, it attracts us rednecks. You know, like a moth to a flame. Also, like a $2 super chat to a YouTuber. This one comes with some Bushy Ryu Cat. What's going on? Bushin Ryu Cat. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat. Throwing out the challenge. Hunt down I know where one is. Galloping Ghost. Go check it out. As a side note, I really like G-Lock. I like G-Lock better than Afterburner. I do. I like that game better. I know it's all Sega, and you know, but I tried to just find so there's the R360, the G-Lock that I actually got a chance to play at Galloping Ghost was awesome. They also have I think it's like a Dynamo HS5 or whatever. They've got G-Lock in that also, just a joystick. And I would like to get my hands on just a regular G-Lock. Just a standard version. Obviously, I ain't fitting the 360 in this arcade. It's just not going to happen. Thank you so much for $2 super chat, man. Really do appreciate it. And here you go. Perfect. Boom. There we go. Retro or bust. Hello from the UK. Hello, my UK brother. How are you? Great to see you. Or sister. I don't assume anything. But thank you so much for being here. I have a question about replacing the monitor on the NBA Shack. The 19-inch TN monitor that's horrible. Can I still use a Raspberry Pi if I have replaced the monitor with the Dell? Yeah, I mean, it's the same connection type. You're going to have to just make sure you have that converter you're not going to just have the LVDS connection. You know, I mean, like you do now with your standard arcade A1Up PCB, you're going to have to get rid of that. And you're going to have to buy one of those. It's like a breakout board. It's like an LVDS connector that will give you an HDMI input. But no, you can still use it. And if you haven't decased the monitor completely, you may even have that input. But with the Dell 1917, I don't know that there wasn't an HDMI. There was I think it was a VGA input. But you're going to have to buy maybe one more thing. You have to buy one more thing. Go back in my videos and check that out. Look at the ones that I did the modifications, specifically the original AVP mod. But I can maybe even give you a link to that breakout board. It just basically is a board that connects to the LVDS connector on the monitor, and it gives you that HDMI input that you're going to need for your Raspberry Pi or anything else you want to connect to it. That was some of my original, man. If you go all the way back to some of my original mods that I took that Street Fighter 2 cabinet and I had like a PS2 on it. I was running Burnout. We had 2 steering wheels. I mean, that was the same process. The only real difference is the quality of the monitor that the Shack Jam cabinet had in it. You know, whenever we did our swap with the Dell, we're just changing out that physical panel. The controller, the board itself is still just a stock arcade A1Up. So there's nothing really exotic going on there other than the quality of the display and the way that it's lit. That's really the only big change. So there's nothing too exotic going on there, but you're still going to have to take that LVDS connection and break that out to get HDMI. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. I've only seen the 530 in a mag and the R360 in a magazine. Hope to play it someday. If you go to Galloping Ghost, I think you have to request a time to play. You can't just, it's a free play arcade except for that arcade. I think it's one of the few that you have to talk to somebody, talk to the guy at the front and see if, Doc was there, so he was able to kind of take us back there and let a bunch of us play it. I think that has to be a supervised thing for sure. Obviously, you can imagine it's kind of a dangerous thing, but it was a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. I just got to play it once. I really wanted to play it more than once, but there was a line. So what can you do? Moving to Saturday means you will get to watch Cowboys lose. Was that necessary? Did we have to go there? Did we have to say that? Do we have to say it? Yeah, maybe I'll be in a better mood when I do my show if I'm not watching the Cowboys lose, and then trying to do a live stream and just put on a brave face. Going back to Fun Stock, if you look at what else is going on, they've actually frozen the prices on the cartridges until April 1st. I hope this isn't, they're in the UK, so I don't think April Fool's Day is a thing in the UK, maybe not. But they've frozen the prices until April 1st, 2025 to, be in line with the 2024 pricing. Now, if you're not sure what are you talking about, Fox? What's going on? Back in January, Evercade proper announced that there was going to be a price increase on the cartridges. So on the standard cartridges, they're going to be $25 instead of 20. And then you're going to see the Giga cartridges go up to 30. That's US. That's US pricing. You can see on the screen here. You're going to have euros and you're going to have the Canadian dollar. But yes, I believe that's just a $5 increase on what we've seen in the past. So it is not the end of the world, right? But it's a fairly large percentage of the actual price when you consider, moving from $15 or $17 up to $20. You're talking about a couple $3 to $5 US is about what you can expect to pay. I do think it's worth it going to Fun Stock or Video Games Plus up in Canada. Those are my two sources for Evercade stuff. Amazon is really just kind of a hit or miss thing. Amazon is just completely hit or miss. You never really know what you're going to get when it comes to that stuff. So that's the latest and greatest on that. Oh yeah, let's talk about this. Let's talk about those tariffs, guys. I gotta break it down to you. The tariffs were never going to happen. The tariffs were never going to happen. So some people, some eagle-eyed people. So we'll just look at the American perspective, okay? And as things happen, people's attention spans about that far, right? About that much. And we saw that America flexed, and then Canada flexed, and then Canada caved, But then if you look back in the whole, and this is not political. This is just world events, right? This is just what happened. I'm just giving you this. What happened? I'm not giving you really my opinion. Trump flexes, Trudeau flexes, then it looks like Canada caves. But then if you look back, and some people have pointed this out, but back in December, Trudeau was already the plans were already in place to send the troops to the border and all this. So people are like, aha, it's like a tricky trick. Well, no, if you go back even further, back to November, that's when, remember, Trudeau flew down to Mar-a-Lago in Florida, and the two of them already talked. And if you look at the BBC articles that I read, the 25% tariff was part of their initial meeting. So I think that this was never going to happen. It was sort of, they had their initial conversations. I'm sure there was, listen, if you do this, I'll do this. Maybe there was a lot of, listen, I know you want to save face. You don't want to seem weak. So how about we play it out like this? But, I don't think it's right to, maybe mess with the public perception, because a lot of people are freaking out. And of course, you got people investing and all that they're concerned about. It was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. This was all put into place in November. I know, shocking. Politicians lying to us. It was all political theater. So rest assured, I think as long as everybody, fulfills their commitments, there's not going to be any tariffs between America and Canada. Now, America and, China, well, that's a different story. That's a different story. But I don't think that they were ever going to be a thing at all. So rest assured, I think we're going to be just fine. I get all my Evercade carts from Songbird Productions. They're great. Awesome. Art of the Deal by Donald J. Trump. His negotiating playbook is in there. Absolutely. He hasn't strayed from it. Listen, there's posing and posturing, but I don't think that there's going to be any real tariffs. It's just trying to get people to, maintain their borders. I think that's all that was. But yes, the tariffs would not have been a good thing for anybody trying to get anything shipped from America to Canada and vice versa. That would absolutely, and there's no two ways about it. If the tariffs were in place, that would have affected our hobby negatively. I don't care who you voted for. That's just the way that goes. Tariffs don't always affect everything, equally. But when it comes to our little hobby, that would have absolutely, affected us. So, that just is what it is. We're not talking about a choice of beer where if this beer is, imported from Mexico, you can just get a different beer. Well, that's too expensive. I'll just get something else. You don't really have that option, not when we're talking about the hobby that we have now. But crisis averted. Everything's good. We're moving on. Well, let's see. There we go. See, yes. Okay, there we go. Your assessment of the tariffs is spot on. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I voted for the bad orange man, but I do have to call BS on this and what happened to ending the Ukraine. Well, we're not getting into all that, but listen. We're just talking about the tariffs as it, that may be a different channel. I may have to start a different show talking about that stuff, but I don't want to. I don't want to alienate anybody. I'm just talking about the tariffs, and I just don't think they were ever going to happen. I think it was political theater. Thank God that's all that it was. Neither here nor there. But if you look over there, you're going to see a super chat, $2 coming to us from Stringer Films. Thank you so much for $2 super chat, buddy. Got 4 sheets of 4x8 3/4 plywood. 4 for $200, cheaper than a 1-up. You got to. There's some labor. Well, thank you so much for your financial assistance there, your assessment of the situation. Yes, and I will say this. I gave you a hard time about you're kind of missing a few components there, but I will say that the plywood is probably much more useful than the 1-up.
Wolverine win. Rookie.
Okay, all right. Let's. We talked about this and that and the other. I think we're probably done with that topic, which means we got to go on to the next one. And the next one is New Wave Toys. Lovely little company making little arcades. Coming out with little stuff that you got to pre-order and wait a long time for. And if you actually pre-ordered their first pinball machine, the Blackhole pinball machine, like I did, you're on their mailing list and you got a little bit of an update this week, and let's check it out. Good day all. Thank you again for pre-ordering the Blackhole mini pin. We're proud to share the following updates on our Blackhole mini pin final engineering prototype. We're finally satisfied with the electronic functions and level of detail on the playfields, back glass, and exterior cabinet. Although we do have a few minor updates to add, some missing accent LEDs and some surface textures, but nothing that will affect manufacturing. Our next milestone is to start tooling once our factory returns from their Chinese New Year, which I guess just happens all the time over there. Maybe China ain't such a bad place to live when you got all these New Years. I mean, how many years are in like a calendar year? Oh, all right, we'll move on. Our goal is to finish the tooling debugging process by the end of April. We'll be back with a progress update on tooling, and we'll also confirm the production schedule at this time. So end of April, right? Here's some detailed images and final production version. Here you go. Boom. Looking really good. This is definitely a pinball machine I can get behind. This is good. This is exciting. A lot of detail. I think that this is just a refined version. Some of this stuff looked a little bit rough in that original prototype. Looking at the actual playfield, you're seeing a lot of detail. If you look in there, you can really see like a lot of the bumpers and stuff. It's there's a lot of detail. I'm not familiar enough with the original pin to know exactly if there's something off here, but the attention to detail is pretty stellar when you just consider all the different materials that are being used to recreate this playfield. It looks really, really awesome. But looking is one thing. How does it sound? Let's go ahead and click on this, and let's do this over here. Let's share the screen. Let's take a look at their atmospheric playset. Their little video they've posted on their YouTube channel. Check it out. And here we go. Let me know if you can hear this. It's quiet right now, but I wonder if you can hear this. Looking pretty good. The LEDs are awesome. You got different colors going on. All the little, I love the little trailing yellow LEDs on the playfield. That looks sick. Okay. Everybody hear that? If you can hear that. Zoom in on this a little bit. Can I zoom in? Okay. It's a freaking short video. Okay. Oh, they're right there. There we go. Well, that doesn't do much at all. This is the best thing to do. I love the sound of all the little stop this. I love all the little solenoid sounds and the flipper sounds and everything. So it's got the ambiance. If you want that sort of look and sound of everything else kind of in a track mode, that's going to fit in really nice. You can head on over to their YouTube channel if you want to watch that for yourself. But all the little trailing LEDs, the different colors, it would be one thing if it was all just one big translucent film with a single light behind it, you know, everything's sort of the same color, but you could even get different colors if you had different color translight. But the fact that everything is firing and shining and coming off and on in different times, there's a lot of detail going on to this. I can't imagine the little, I'm assuming it's some kind of a PCB on the back, on the very bottom side of the playfield, making all this happen. But that looks really good. So yeah, there we go. Turok, he's getting it. Absolutely. I've got my pre-ordered, so I'm excited. I think that the way things have been going, they're going to have a production run, and they're probably, I don't know that they're going to have, like, if you go to their website now, most of the stuff sells out, right? But there's stuff like Zoltar that is still there. You can still buy it, I think as of today. So I think the pinball machine, once they all get in and all us pre-order customers get ours, I think you're probably going to have a chance to get your hands on one. So, but it looks really cool. If you like the New Wave toys at all, and you want to break up the look of your, of all the cabinets and the Coke machine and everything, you got the stools, you want to change things up just a little bit, this is absolutely a great way to really go. I think that it's just gonna look awesome. I hope New Wave Toys does Gargant. I hope that they do. I want to see, they did Golden Tee, which is late 90s, early 2000s. I would like to see a few more 90s games, just a few more. But I'm also torn because I do love the deep cuts. The deep cuts are games that are just probably never going to be remade by anybody, especially Arcade 1-Up. They're never going to touch that. So I think I really am torn. I gravitate towards the 90s games because, in my opinion, the evolution of the games from the 70s, 80s, 90s, they sort of culminated in the 90s. That's where everything really got refined graphically and just like mechanically. I mean, some of the controls really got refined and responsive, and then things sort of stabilized in 2000s, and then they just got nuts. They just turned into 42-inch TVs, and some of the games lost some of their challenge and some of their individuality, uniqueness of them changed slightly, in my opinion, in the late 2000s. So 90s is kind of, for me, where everything kind of culminated. Obviously, I'm not going to ignore the classics, and so that's why I am kind of torn. I don't mind the Crystal Castles at all because nobody else is going to remake that, and to have that over in the arcade is cool. But it would be nice to just have one Capcom CPS2 game, or maybe one Mortal Kombat. I mean, arcade staples that, yes, they were late 80s, early 90s, but still, these things they're arcade royalty. So I'm kind of torn. So I think that we've got some good stuff from the 80s, 70s. I would like to see something 90s, but I'm not going to get mad if we get some good stuff from back then, because there's still a ton of games out there that they haven't done yet that I think a lot of people will be excited for sure. I want to see more animatronics too. Yes, Yes. The more the merrier, right? Chop it up, diversify it, you know. Sorry, I'm a bit behind on the stream. Had to make a pizza. No problem. Pizza is a priority, sir. Pizza is a priority. 80s were the best. Gramps Arcade, I can't argue the point. I can't argue the point. All I can say is that I think that they evolved they kind of met their peak. The pinnacle was the 90s, where things just kind of, they got as good as they were going to get. And then, you know, it just, you know, plateaued and then dropped off to just Dave and Buster's garbage, in my personal opinion. Pole position was amazing. We just saw, listen, if My Arcade can do it, then we know the New Wave Toys absolutely can get it done. Okay, let's move on to some of the most exciting news ever. Strap yourself in. It's going to be exciting. Take a drink. Last topic of the night, so make sure you jump up and vote in the poll question. It's over in the chat. The poll question in the chat. Make sure you vote. I want to know what everybody thinks about that, because we're talking about it right now. So we got some exciting news drop. We have some more shipping info about more A1Up cabinets coming in. Oh my God, what is that? Is that 700? 700 Pacman and 700 Miss Pacman. You know, so okay, more Pacman. But there was some a naming convention thrown in here that was a little bit confusing. Maybe people are like, "What classic? What does that mean? Classic SE? What does that mean? What are we talking about? Could it be that we could actually get some kind of radical different form factor? SE, was that be like special edition? It's possible. What does the SE mean? No, but classic, I think, is what we really got to get sort of focus on. So let's take a look real quick at what they actually have right now. Let's go ahead and bring up. Let's see. That's the first one. Let's go to the second one. That's the same one. So let's go ahead and remove that one, because we don't need to see that one. That's the same damn one. That's the same one. Let's remove that from studios. And over here, let's go there. Okay. So if you look at what's available now, as far as Pacman, you have Pacman Deluxe, which we know what the Pacman Deluxe looks like. It's, you know, the one that doesn't have a riser, but it's really tall. This is the one that is not really tall, right? But it's not called Classic, it's called Legacy, you know, at least this version of it. Now, they had the original run way back in the day, and then they decided, you know, with like no lit marquees, and it was just, it had just the 3 games on the actual kick plate, and that was it. But then there was this sort of shift where they decided to reintroduce these or bring these back with more games. This one has 12 games, but it's got the remember the Legacy, the original, the first generation Legacy had the sticker, had the coin door sticker, which was fine. I think that's better than just the games list, but you know, the molded coin door was much better. And this was technically a Legacy, but a Legacy without a riser, because remember the first Legacies had risers. It was kind of weird. It was kind of weird. So you had Legacies with risers and lit marquees, but then you had these Legacies that didn't have risers and didn't have lit marquees, and also didn't have a different designation. If you just look at it, Pac-Man Edition, Bandai Namco, Legacy arcade game. It's tough to distinguish between what this is and what a full-blown Legacy was, because remember the Legacies came out with marquee, or with a slightly different form factor when you're talking about, which, you know, I didn't really like, but if you're talking about the Capcom Legacy, we're talking about the Mortal Kombat Legacy with the weird wings. Didn't make any sense. It was a different looking form factor, and it had more games, which was the big saving grace of that cabinet. It's like, well, hey, at least it has those games. The Pac-Man ones always look basically the same. So when it came to the Pac-Man stuff, they just got rid of the riser and got rid of the lit marquee, and they still called it a Legacy. Still kind of confusing. But as you can see, that right now this is sold out at Walmart. Let's look at the other one. But if you look at this one, no, that's not the right one. Remove that one. Oh, I know what I did. Did I download that one? Let me just do this real quick. Hold on. I think that was, yes, here we go. So let's go here. Let's go there. Let's open that up. Is this the right one? Maybe. No, it's the same one. Anyway, the point I was going to make, let me remove that. The point I was going to make is that this was the Legacy version, but then there was another version that had the word Classic in the title, and it had 14 games, and then it didn't have the sticker on the front with the fake coin door. It actually had the list of the 14 games, right? So similar to this old style was this old style. Once again, this is the Miss Pac-Man version, Legacy, same deal. It's still available right now for $2.99. Had the sticker of the coin door, no lit marquee, 12 games. This one actually had, this is another thing that's confusing. This had 14 games, but it was a Legacy. Now, I don't know. I think, did this have 14 games or 12? And that's just a misprint. I don't know. This is all part of the confusion about the Legacies, peasant versions, classics, whatever. So this is another version that's out there, Miss Pac-Man. Still, it doesn't say classic on it. But when you start looking at other versions, like boom, this one right here, now all of a sudden the classic moniker comes into play. This is still available too. Or this is not available. This version is not available, which is why you're probably getting a restock from Arcade 1-Up. But this is the Arcade 1-Up Miss Pac-Man Classic Arcade. This does have the 14 games listed on the kick plate. No lit marquee, obviously no riser, but the classic, this is where the classic came in. The classic naming convention came in to at least, and in my mind, it was a good idea to call it a classic. You could use a different word, but you wanted to distinguish between legacies and these peasant versions of legacies. So calling it a classic at least gives it a different, you don't want to call it a peasant-cade. I mean, we call it that, but you don't want to call it a peasant version or a crap version. You want to call it something else. So classic seems to make some sense, especially when you look at other stuff in this same sort of form factor. I don't think that we never got a Capcom, but we never got a Capcom version, but we did get the Mortal Kombat version and we got the Big Buck Hunter version. Both of them have classic in the naming convention. So we're not, in my opinion, although the SE may be a little bit confusing in here, I think that what we're getting is absolutely just more of these peasant arcades. And we're not getting a Capcom version. We're not getting, some kind of Atari version. We're not even getting another Mortal Kombat version. We're getting good old-fashioned Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man. That's where we're at. Is that exciting? No, not really. But that's why I posed the question in the chat. I want everybody to jump up there and vote and think about this. Now, we're talking about a price point of $299. Your legacy, your deluxes now, I guess they're technically, and this is where it gets confusing, kind of, if you're just getting into the hobby and you're trying to catch up and figure out where everything's at, it is a legacy, but it's a deluxe. I'm talking about the deluxes now. They have the legacy games list, 14 games. But they don't have a riser, but they're a deluxe, so they're a taller cabinet. But this is also, you're calling it a legacy, but it also doesn't have a riser, but it's obviously shorter. The price difference is $200. So $300 to $500. So is there in 2025 a reason to make this version? I mean, it's the cheapest way to get into the hobby. If it's the cheapest way to get into this particular company, $299. But if you go to the website, you can't order lid marquees like you could back in the day. You could just go to their website and you could just buy one, and it would plug into the back and it had a little switch on the top. It was, it was fine for what it was. That's how we had to do it back in the day. And then the third party stuff came out and it was killing it. And that was a better way to go. But is there a legit reason to have this in 2025? Now, if you're RGT85, if you're a fan of just sitting down and gaming, this goes back to the riser debate. Is the riser even worth producing? Some people don't even want the riser. Is it worth saving? It's $200, which is nothing to sneeze at. So let's say you don't want to stand up and game. You would rather sit down, candy cap style, and play arcade games. That's legitimate, right? So all you're really missing is the lit marquee because the crappy controls are going to be in the deluxe too. So, you got to be honest with yourself. How do you game? If you want to sit down and game, well, then maybe there is still a place for this version out there. Maybe there's just 3 versions out there, 3 form factors. You got the classic, we're calling it. You got the deluxe and you got the XL, but they're not really making XLs. So you really just have this, and then you have, the deluxe. But then you also have the other form factors. Remember the 15 different form factor slide I used to show all the time? A lot of those form factors are gone, but you still have some of those Partycades, which is also a 17-inch monitor, and it sits on a counter. So but that's $100 cheaper. So I don't know. We could be getting in the weeds here, because then you have the Countercades, which are a 8-inch screen, which I think they've gone back to a 7-inch screen, but it's not even 4x3. It's 16x9 turned sideways. It's just, it's becoming a mess. So I think that those form factors are probably, they're not even worth buying anymore. But is the classic still something they should be producing? And that's the poll question now, but let's talk about it briefly right now. I mean, is it worth, it's $200 savings. And if you really care about a lip marquee, there's a ton of third-party options. Even though A1Up doesn't offer it, there's a ton of third-party options. We just talked about it with the Evercade Alpha. Swapping out controls is not that big of a deal. You can go to DIY Retro Arcade right now, and they have Sanwa kits that will be plug and play to the encoder of your choice. You just tell them what encoder you have, and they'll send you not only the Sanwa stick, but the adapter harness that will plug everything right back into it. And then, of course, buttons are just plug and play. So you could just swap those out. And, maybe that's worth it. It's only, I think it's just going to depend on the riser, no riser, which is turning out to be the bigger debate, even more so than 3/4 versus XL, which is actually kind of fascinating when you think about it. Riser, no riser. But you're talking about a huge price difference too. When you're talking about XL and deluxe, we're talking about $100 price difference. Riser, no riser, now you're talking about $200 difference. So what do you think? What do you think about it? What do you think about it? The Peasant with the 14 games is the one I wanted, but no light up marquee. I can use my existing riser. And riser can be whatever you have, whatever you want. And for me, at 6'1", the stock riser wasn't tall enough anyway. So I had to get another riser. So, yeah. Let's see. I didn't buy the Peasant because I liked my light up. The light up marquee is a big thing. A different word is POS. That's true. That is another acronym. That big buck hunter without a riser looks stupid. Another valid complaint. Absolutely. For the height challenged folks, listen, I think if you're talking about anybody 5'6", this is a legit, thing to consider, right? And I'm just picking out a number. I don't know. Whatever, Yoga Flame had a Peasant version, didn't it? Yes, I think you're right. I think it did. It wasn't the Shinku Hadouken, but it was the Yoga Flame. So you're probably right. But yes, you are right, because we actually bought one in Chicago. Yeah. 3 years ago, Chicago, when we did our Chicago trip, the first Chicago trip, we bought it, or actually, I didn't buy it. Console Kits and B Kong bought it, and at the time I didn't have a bed cover on my truck, so I couldn't take it with me. I already had the Blitz in the back seat, and they were like, "Yeah, take this too," because I remember we wanted to take a look at it and check out the marquee situation. I think at the time we weren't sure if it came with the Translight and you just needed to add an LED strip. So that was the video I was going to make, but I couldn't get it back home. So you're absolutely right. There was a Peasant version of the Yoga Flame. It's kind of a shame that they didn't continue that, Well, let's real quick, while we're talking about this, Walmart. Let's do this. We'll do it live. We're doing it live. Let's check it out. Arcade A1Up Yoga. So they have a lot of retailers on. Son of a motherless goat. Check this out. Check this out. This is why you do it live, kids. This is why you do it live. Okay, so if you go to Walmart right now, to continue the conversation. Look at this. Look at that guy right there. Look at that fella. That little guy. And it's got the it's got the live. It's got the Wi-Fi on it. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a pretty compelling peasant version. The question that we had though, was this just wood? The marquee? Was this just wood, or was that actually translite? And then all you had to do was get some LEDs and put it behind it. Maybe that's a video I still do. I don't know. But here it is at $2.99. Who's selling this? A1Up proper? No, that's the brand. Who's selling it? Usually it says Walmart, I guess. Yeah, here we go. Sold and shipped by Walmart. So they still have stock of the Yoga Flame peasant version. There we go. You know what? If you're if you are wanting to get into Arcade 1-Up and you like Capcom games, this is probably the best one to get, I think. I mean, the side art, listen, we're not talking about arcade accurate. Accuracy is kind of out the door. That's pretty dope. I mean, if you just want something, and is that now, and this is another thing I want to check out. Yes, this has, okay, so this is the only peasant version that has the molded coin door. It says it right there. Molded coin door. So you're getting a lot more for your money if you go for the Yoga Flame. B Kirby, thank you for bringing it. Thank you for reminding me about that. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. That was the thing. So you get a molded coin door with that one. It's like they actually just took they took the time to take the damn lit marquee out. It's so weird. It's so weird. But at $2.99, you know, maybe that's the conversation to have. Still got the 14 games, 14 great games. Yeah, maybe that's the conversation. Maybe that's the most compelling argument, I think. Now, if they could, and here's the thing, okay, so right now, what if you're getting molded coin doors with this? Maybe this is more in line with, now I don't think that this is the way they're going to go, because Arcade 1-Up has been stripping costs out of everything. But what if they follow that, they go back to that method and you're getting a molded coin door, still no lit marquee, but you're getting, you know, the same shape, molded coin door. Maybe there's a little, that's just enough of a difference maker to make people want to buy it. Because the question comes out, it's not necessarily the form factor, which I know that's what we're talking about now. It's the games. You keep making Pacman over and over and over again. I'd rather them re-release Partycades. There you go. If no riser, they could have added a wide balance board on the back, on the bottom, so you can stand it up or stand it on tables or on your own riser. That's true. That's very true. The peasant versions can move up to 350 with riser and lit marquees. Deluxes are $499, XLs are $599, or an XL with special controls $699. Yes. They can be about 350, yeah. But you know, $299, that's before taxes, obviously. But yeah, I didn't know that was still available. Huh. Interesting. You know what? That video that I was going to make 2.5, 3 years ago, maybe we do that anyway. Maybe we just do that. Maybe we ask the question in the video, you know, is this something you need in 2025? You know, I've got other stuff behind me, but there is a real, you know, I mean, my sit-down arcades get a lot of play, you know, to sit down and play the Astro City or your Nova Blast, you know, is definitely a more relaxing way to do it. You can game for longer. So maybe we revisit that, not with Pacman, not with Mortal Kombat, but maybe we do that. Maybe because this even has the Wi-Fi. Let me double check with Mortal Kombat. Okay. Let me double check the peasant version to see if it has the. Let me see. Does it have the Wi-Fi? It has the games list on the front. The Mortal Kombat version does. Well, let me just share my screen here while we're talking about this. Share the screen. Share the damn screen, Fox. Okay, so we go right here. Wi-Fi enabled with online leaderboards and online multiplayer to challenge. Yeah, there you go. So here's where it just keeps getting weird, right? So you have all the Wi-Fi stuff. So you got the live button off to that side there. So you got the live button. You don't have the molded coin door. You have the games list. But if you look at the arcade, if you look at the Capcom version, they have all this stuff plus the molded coin door. So it's weird. It's disjointed. But yes, you still have Wi-Fi capability. So there you go. So what do you think? What do you think? The peasant versions are a pandemic $50 marketplace cabs. Yeah. A riser gets rid of the deluxe wobble. Do you find the deluxe has a wobble? I mean, I guess if you got the riser, you have to screw it to the riser because it just make it a little wider for sure. Lit marquees give personality and light up a dark room for dark. It's one of the biggest things you can do to make this, to have this thing give you the impression or the feeling of an actual arcade. It really does. At $2.99, all you need to do to win me back is get at least one of these three things. Include a riser, include a lit marquee, coin door, or have the right shape. Absolutely. I was curious if we would have seen, they have the Dynamo HS5 Deluxe Capcom Street Fighter. If they would have made a peasant version of that, would people have gravitated towards that? Because I think it's a much better shape. I don't know if they could do that for $2.99. You're definitely not getting a lit marquee for $2.99. Just the fact that you have the physical wire, the board that has to be, they have to route that out and install the LED strip. I just don't think it's going to happen. Not for $2.99. Not for $2.99. Do they even sell risers anymore? I have seen them in store. Yes. But they're just generic black risers. But I have seen them in stores. That's one of the few things I've seen in stores. I've seen at the Walmart that used to have all the stuff close to where I work. You can still get a riser and a Pacman peasant version, and you can get a Mortal Kombat peasant version. That's like 2 cabs. That's it. 2 cabs is it. Not for me. Riser for the risers. I know. That's the curse of being tall for sure. LOL. Turok 98. Let me scroll down. So I got to get caught up with the chat. We got James, who's mildly annoyed at some things here, saying waka waka waka. That's right. Let me screw down. What? It's not Sunday. Yeah, I know, but Super Bowl Sunday. So we're gonna do this tonight. We're doing it live. I just ordered Burger Time from Amazon. Nice. The deluxe wobble noticeable over the riser version. Yeah, because the riser version has a better footprint for sure. Wafer has X-Men 97 for $4.99. If you don't have an A1Up, it's a good deal, and you can pay in installments because I did for the Shinku Hadouken cab. Yeah, X-Men 97 is a good cab. I obviously changed it, and I gutted mine. Well, I didn't gut it, but I swapped. I did a PCB swap, and I did a control panel mod, made a new control panel, and it's rocking the X-Men Konami game. So yeah, the soul of that company is gone. Midlife, I'm going to be in total agreement with you, to be perfectly honest. It's just not there. The love for this stuff just isn't there anymore, and we get what we get. This is sort of it. This is all that there is. So I'm kind of thinking that I got 2 grandkids. Maybe one of these would be good for them. It's a shame that you can't get the Mortal Kombat anymore because I wouldn't mind. I'm not a big fan of Mortal Kombat, but $2.99 is a good deal for those games. There's a lot of variety there. But the Capcom version, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll make that video. Maybe do you need this in 2025? Maybe that's the tagline. Maybe that's the look. Maybe I'll do that. I am eyeing a Mortal Kombat 2 cab because I have the crappy Legends version. Yeah. Done with the Legacy version with the wings. That sucks. It's not good. I have a riser for my riser for Big Red. I have a riser for my riser on Turtles and my X-Men 97 cab and my my T2 cab. But G.I. Joel has got me a solution. I went ahead and ordered one of his risers, inline risers with a 4-inch extension built into it. So when I do that part, when I do my T2 mods, that should hopefully eliminate all those issues, all those problems, and give me the ultimate 3/4 deluxe T2 cabinet. That's the plan. That's the hope. And with if all goes well, knock on wood, I'll have it. Just look at that.
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
Unfortunately, it is that time. We got to go ahead and wrap this thing up. But before we do, let's go ahead and look at the poll question, guys. The poll question, once again, what do you think of the classic version A1Up cabinet? I really wanted to know what you think. We had 110 votes on a Saturday night. Not bad. Not too shabby. Let's go ahead and end the poll right now. And we'll talk about who came in third. What is the third place answer for the poll question? As soon as it pops up, I'll let you know. Give it a second. Okay, here we go. So coming in last place with 16% of the vote is I like it, make more. 16% is not bad. Probably a little bit more than I thought. So 16% of you actually like the form factor and it's cool. So what won out? Should be cheaper or stop making it? Well, coming in the number one spot with 43% of the vote was actually stop making the form factor. It's kind of rough. It's kind of rough, right? Yeah, it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is, I guess. So some people just don't like it. Most people don't like it. 43% of you. So, 45 people, because I got 110 in the chat, 110 votes. 45 to 50 people are saying, nah, stop making the form factor. 40% of you said it should be cheaper than $299. So 83% either want you to stop making it or they don't see enough value at $299. So that is about as scientific as I can get. Video Vegas, no, there's no problem. If you like it, man, you like it. No problem with that. So everybody, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me on a Saturday. Are we going to move the show to Saturday? Perhaps, maybe. Intoxication means more likes and views, right? Well, I don't know. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Every Saturday night may be tough to commit to. Sunday nights are pretty good because I'm usually home every Sunday night. But, it is what it is. We're going to give it a shot. We're going to think about it. We're going to mull it over. This is the year of change on the channel, and I'm not going to be afraid to maybe shift to Saturday. Maybe we'll do every other week. Maybe we'll go back and forth to see what happens. Everybody, relax, enjoy yourself. Members, hang out right here. We're going to have a members-only live stream. You'll be automatically redirected to that show that we have every single week after every single this week's show. If you want to be a part of that, you can become a member right now. Hit that join button. It's only $5 a month. You can become a member, and you can have access to special content just for members, as well as the after show. Everybody, thank you so much for stopping by, checking out the channel, enjoying the Super Bowl, and I will see all of you right back here next time. Peace.